Hello there. Would you like to have a cup of coffee? But it tastes a little bit bitter. By the way, this coffee was made by Mark. He wants me to taste it and tell him what's wrong about the coffee. Because every time he makes one for his father, there is always a coffee left over. That is why we will be helping him to make a coffee that his father would enjoy. Are you in? So what are you waiting for? I am Gemma de la Paz, your lead investigator for this case 1.1 entitled Coffee Break, in your very first episode of How to Be a Scientist, a journey where science is the key. Before we make our investigations, let me remind you of the following objectives. Before we proceed, let me help you unlock the following terminologies. You need to solve this case in the most scientific way. To do that, you should know about the scientific method. Are you excited to know about the scientific method? Let's begin. Scientific method is a logical process of finding solution to a problem. And in finding solution to a problem, you have to take the following steps. First, identify the problem, question or situation that needs a solution. Second, gather data. Collect all the information that will help you solve the problem. And you will be using your senses to get this information. Third, formulate a hypothesis. What is your educated guess about the problem? What do you think are the possible solutions to the problem? Fourth, test your hypothesis. Conduct a relevant experiment that will help you determine if your hypothesis is correct or not. Fifth, formulate a conclusion. Your final statement about the problem based on your findings. Now that you know the different steps of the scientific method, let us now help Mark to solve his problem. Our first step is correct. Identify the problem. So, what do you think is Mark's problem? Is it A, B, C, or D? I agree. Our problem is how much of each ingredient is needed to a cup of coffee for his father. Now that we know the problem, what is our next step? Very good. Our next step is to gather data. So what are the data that will help us solve the problem? Is it A, B, C? How about D or E? I agree. The following data will help us solve the problem. His father drinks half a cup of coffee only. His father likes a coffee with more milk. He is diabetic. He wants less coffee. We know the problem. We gathered all the data that will help us solve the problem. So next is nice. Formulate your hypothesis. So based on the collected and gathered data, what is your educated guess? Is it A, B, or C? I agree. His father likes a creamy coffee but not too sweet. enjoy making cups of coffee? Let us now proceed to the last step of the scientific method, which is formulate a conclusion. Based on our findings, which of the following statements must be our conclusion? Is it A, B, or C? Our conclusion must be, therefore we conclude that Mark must add 1 teaspoon of coffee, 1 teaspoon of sugar, and 5 teaspoons of milk to make a coffee that is creamy but not too sweet. Yes, we were able to make a coffee that his father would enjoy. I am sure that Mark is so happy because you were able to help him solve the problem using the scientific method. See, following step-by-step procedure will really help us solve the problem. And that is also because of you. That's why if you really want to be a real scientist, you should learn how to follow the step-by-step procedure in solving the problem. And that is scientific method. Congratulations! You are now one step away to become a scientist. I am Gemma De La Paz, your lead investigator for this case 1.1 entitled Coffee Break, Case Closed. See you again in our next episode of How to Be a Scientist, a journey where science is the key.